In the vast green meadows on the outskirts of a small village, there lived a clever rabbit named Nibble. Nibble was known throughout the forest for his quick wit and his ability to escape from even the most dangerous situations. His burrow was nestled under an old oak tree, surrounded by dense bushes that provided him with perfect cover from predators. The village nearby was home to several hunters who prided themselves on their well-trained hunting dogs. These dogs were swift, strong, and relentless when on the trail of their prey. They were the pride of their owners, who often organized hunting expeditions to catch wild game in the forest. Among these hunters was a man named Rohan, known for having the fastest and most intelligent dogs in the entire region. His pack of 5 hounds was infamous among the forest creatures, who lived in constant fear of their sharp noses and swift paws. One crisp autumn morning, Rohan decided to organize a grand hunt, inviting other hunters from neighboring villages to join him. It was a day eagerly awaited by the hunters and dreaded by the forest creatures. As the sun began to rise, casting golden hues across the landscape, the hunters and their dogs gathered near the forest edge. Ready to embark on the hunt, Nibble, ever cautious, had sensed the increased activity in the village and knew something was amiss. He had seen the hunters and their dogs preparing from a distance and understood that today would be no ordinary day. The entire forest seemed to hold its breath in anticipation. As the hunters released their dogs into the forest, the air filled with the sound of excited barking and the rustling of leaves. The dogs, with their noses close to the ground, spread out in all directions, searching for the scent of any unfortunate creature. Nibble knew he had to be extra vigilant today. One mistake could cost him his life. Nibble decided to stay close to his burrow at first, hiding in the thick underbrush and listening intently to the sounds around him. He could hear the dogs barking in the distance, getting closer and then farther away as they chased various animals. His heart raced every time the sound of paws on the ground seemed to approach his hiding spot. As the hunt progressed, one of Rohan's dogs, a particularly sharp-nosed hound named Bruno, picked up Nibble's scent. Bruno was the most experienced dog in the pack, known for his unerring ability to track down even the most elusive prey. The moment he caught Nibble's scent, he let out a loud bark and took off in the direction of the rabbit's burrow. Nibble heard the bark and felt a shiver of fear run down his spine. He knew that he was in serious trouble. Without wasting a moment, Nibble dashed out of his hiding spot and began running through the forest at full speed. His small, nimble body allowed him to zigzag through the undergrowth, but he knew Bruno was not far behind. Bruno's barking alerted the other dogs, who quickly joined the chase. Soon, 5 hunting dogs were hot on Nibble's trail, their powerful legs propelling them forward with incredible speed. The forest echoed with the sound of their pursuit, the hunters following closely behind on horseback, eager to see the outcome of the chase. Nibble knew the forest well, every nook and cranny, every hidden path, and he used this knowledge to his advantage. He led the dogs on a wild chase through dense thickets, across streams, and over rocky terrain. His small size allowed him to slip through gaps in the undergrowth that the larger dogs struggled to navigate. However, despite his best efforts, the dogs continued to close in on him, their relentless pursuit driven by the thrill of the hunt. As the chase wore on, Nibble began to tire. He had been running at full speed for what felt like hours, and his legs were starting to ache. He knew he couldn't keep this up much longer. Desperation began to creep in, but Nibble was not one to give up easily. He quickly devised a plan, drawing on every ounce of his cunning. Nibble remembered an old, abandoned burrow nearby that had once belonged to a badger. The burrow had 2 entrances, one well hidden behind a large rock and the other under a thick bush. It was the perfect place to lose the dogs if he could reach it in time. With renewed determination, Nibble changed direction, heading straight for the old burrow. He could hear the dogs gaining on him, their barking growing louder with each passing second. Nibble pushed himself harder, ignoring the burning in his muscles and the fatigue that threatened to overwhelm him. At last, he spotted the large rock that concealed the entrance to the burrow. Without slowing down, Nibble darted behind the rock and squeezed into the narrow entrance. He moved quickly through the dark tunnel, emerging from the other side under the bush. He paused for a moment, catching his breath and listening carefully. The dogs reached the rock moments later, but to their confusion, the scent trail seemed to disappear. They sniffed around frantically, barking in frustration as they tried to locate their prey. Rohan and the other hunters arrived soon after, observing the dog's behavior with puzzled expressions. "Where did the rabbit go?" Rohan muttered to himself, dismounting his horse and walking over to the rock. He examined the area closely but found no trace of Nibble. The dogs continued to circle the rock, their noses to the ground, but the scent had vanished. Nibble watched from his hiding spot under the bush, his heart pounding in his chest. He knew he had to remain perfectly still and silent until the hunters and their dogs moved on.